welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin, and I am a part-time reseller who goes around to yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores, pretty much anywhere I can find to find things to flip for a profit on eBay. I am exclusively an eBay seller, so if you're looking for somebody who cross-posts and takes advantage of every platform, I'm not your gal, because I do this part-time. I know my limitations, so I stick with just eBay at this point. This is what sold for July 6th through the 9th, Sunday through Wednesday. This is Ching number 47. Pretty great set of 4 days. I was very, very excited with what I was able to sell and the profits we were able to bring in that short amount of time. My gross sales, so all in, including shipping, taxes, and everything, $745. The amount that I had into everything was $83.85, and so my gross profit was $346.64, which is absolutely amazing. I had something sell for, let's see, $5.60 all the way up to $110. I'm a firm believer as an everything seller that I have a really wide range of things that are listed, low dollar items and high dollar items, and I usually sell a mix every week. As far as my profit, I had a profit that was as low as $2.44, but also one that I made $71.25 on. My average was $13.33 per item. My goal every week is $15, but I am currently working on clearing out some old inventory. So there are items that I am accepting lower dollar offers on just to move them out and get that purchase recouped so that I can reinvest it in something that's going to give me a better return or sell more quickly, etc., etc. I did have 25 orders and 26 items. I had something that sold the same day I listed it, and then I had something that had been listed for 417 days sell. My average was 82, so right back in the range of about 100% sell-through on average, which is exactly where I want to be. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that sold is a lot of Build-A-Bear clothes that I picked up at a church rummage sale back in March. I have $1 into these. They sold for $16.96, and so I made $12.12 after 93 days. Next one was actually a mistake on my part. I picked this up at the bins on July 5th. I had about $1 cost of goods that day. This was a Little People Princess Disney Parade floats and trains. I listed it for $49. I was running a sale, I think, of 15% off. And unbeknownst to me or unintentionally, the settings on my sale was picking up the new items that I was listing. So somebody got a steal of a deal at $41.65 for this lot of Disney Princess items. A lot of the Disney Princess Little People do not sell, right? Like it's a long tail, huge, not something I would pick up, but I was familiar with this train, and because I got it almost complete, I snagged all the pieces from the bins. And so after, that doesn't look right. I have $1 into it. It says I made $11.47. Not exactly sure what's going on there because that does not look right. Let me double check this here. What? I have to look into this because it's got other fees of $23.17. Oh, it put my sourcing / mileage transportation on there. So I've had people ask, do I count what it cost me for sourcing and mileage, transportation, etc. in my cost of goods? Yeah, I do. I usually don't show it in my what's sold. I'm going to fix that though. So my reseller Genie just actually pushed an update over, and one of the updates that it pushed was that it's like keeping up with your expenses a little bit different. The interface is a little bit different, which is fine, but I did make $34.64 on that one item. But I mean, if you want to think about like the sourcing mileage that I booked, it was 20 something bucks last week. So the profit that I'm showing you appears to be more of an accurate depiction of the profit that I actually made if you take into account the sourcing mileage, etc. So it is what it is. All right, next up was my best sale of the week. This was the 1975 Fisher-Price Play Family Castle with pink dragon and other figures and pieces. It was actually in pretty decent shape. The dragon was a little discolored and one of his ears was broken, but this is a highly sought after set. I had the thrones, I had like the table with the chairs. I had some pieces that are a little bit more difficult to find. So I think I had it listed for like maybe $119 or $125, and I got an offer for $110. Went ahead and accepted that. I had $20 into this from a Little People buyout that I had done from somebody off of Facebook that used to have a booth that they had closed down. And so I made $71.25 after just 12 days. Next is a bins pickup item. This is a vintage Faribault stadium blanket. I've sold this brand before, so when I saw it at the bins, I knew it would sell. I had a $2.55 cost of goods at Goodwill that day, which is pretty high for me at the bins, honestly, but that's okay. I think I had picked up a lot of shoes and bags that day. So it got an offer for $15, and I made $9.67 after 65 days. Next up is a personal item. This is a pair of running shoes, a Saucony men's Triumph. My husband is a runner, and he tried these out and put about 10 to 15 miles on them, didn't particularly care for them. So once again, best thing about being a reseller is that you can sell your own stuff. And so he gave them to me. We got them listed, and they sold for $62. And so we made $53.39 after just a day of being listed. Next item is a Love Every wooden rainbow stacker toy. If you're not familiar with the Love Every brand, I recommend you go do a little bit of research on it. They are BOLO items if you can find them inexpensively. I did have $3.08 into this at a regular Goodwill. It sold for $16.15, and so I made $9.04 after just 20 days, which is great. Next item is a Stella and Dot weekender bag. I picked this up at a regular Goodwill for $8.39 back in the middle of June. It sold for $33.15, so I made $19.55 in just 18 days. Next is a Winnie the Pooh Piglet outdoor flag. It's early, I'm still drinking my coffee here. It was a springtime flag. It was super cute. I had about $1.13 into this at an estate sale back in March. I got an offer for $8.25. It's been listed over 90 days, so I went ahead and took that. And I made $4.88 after 96 days. Next is that long tail item in my store. This is 1847 Rogers Bros silver lace teaspoons. Have $1 into these from an auction from last May. They sold for $20, and so I made $15.95 after 417 days. The interesting thing is I haven't sold very much of this silverware, flatware in a while, but I think this is the second set of teaspoons that I've sold in the last few weeks, so it's great that they're starting to move out. Next is a Star Wars silicone mold Picked this up at the bins, have about $1 into it. I think I found 8 that day. So I'm making about $5, $6 per item, per each one. Easy shipper, easy lister. That sold for $10. And so I made $5.64 after 48 days. Next is a Vineyard Vines American flag patriotic t-shirt. Didn't really get this listed early enough for the 4th of July. I don't have anything into this because this is something that a friend of ours gave us to sell. I got an offer for $10. I made $8.22 in 10 days. Next is a Snowden plush. This was a really fluffy, soft, squishy white teddy bear. I had $2 into this at an estate sale back in March, and it sold for $13.95. So I made $10.99 after just 4 days listed. No, I must have relisted that. Yep, that was, I had just relisted it. Obviously I'd had it for 3 or 4 months at this point, but it was 4 days back on the platform. Next is a duo of Bucky Beaver mascot plush. I got an offer for $15 for both of them. One was one that I found at the bins. One was from a home clean out. So I have about $1 into them. I made a profit of only $7.50 on both of them, but they are gone and not taking up space in my house anymore. Next is a set of 4 Old Navy, Gap, Nike dry fit leggings and a shirt. They were medium. I picked these up at an estate sale last September. Had $3 into it. They've been sitting for a long time, so I had lowered the price and then they sold with a coupon for $13.50. So I made $8.03 after 271 days, but I was glad that they were gone. Next is a vintage round enameled trinket box. It was super duper 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 cute. I paid $4 for this at a yard sale back in November. It sold for $17.95, and so I made $738. I wish. I made $9.38 after 232 days. Next is a Title IX dress. This was the Buddha stretch tank dress. It was navy and gray striped, size medium. I paid $7.48 for this at a regular Goodwill back in March when I found probably 5 or 6 Title IX Patagonia Salt Life dresses. It sold for $24, and so I made $12.62 after 110 days. Next, I think, is the lowest profit item of the week. This is a Bluey and Friends character. This was Snickers. It was the Wiener Dog. Dollar cost of goods at the bins. It sold for $5.60, and so I made $2.44 after 48 days. Next is another personal clean out item. This is an Alessis compact portable 4-pad tabletop electric drum kit. I bought this for my kids to fiddle around with at the Goodwill back in, when did I buy this? I think I bought it probably back in February or March. They played with it for quite some time, and it's kind of lost its luster. So I'm like, let's go ahead and move this out because it is large. So I have $0 into this. It sold for $18.10, and so I made $12.70, and it sold the same day it was listed. Next is a Kelly Toy Lovey. This was a giraffe lovey, and it was actually a rattle as well. I have $1 into this from the bins back in May. It sold for $8.95, and so I made $5.51 after 61 days. Another bins item for $1 buy-in. This was a Gans Sharpay Webkins. Did not have the tags, no code. It sold for $8.10, and so I made $5.38 after 110 days. I am not really picking up Webkins so much anymore, especially if they don't have their code, but the Sharpay was so cute. I had to rescue him, and I made $5. Next is a sale that was recently returned to me. I hope it doesn't come back again. This is a pair of men's Crocs. They are size 15. I paid $10.29 for them at Goodwill back in June. They sold for $35.10, and so I made $17.46 after 23 days. I think, I don't remember how much I ended up losing by being shipped back to me, maybe like $7 or $8. So hopefully these don't get returned again, or I'm at risk of like barely breaking even on this item that I should have been making about $20 to $25 on. So the lovely joys of a reseller. Next is a Fisher-Price Little People Village block. This was the police station and the firehouse. I have $10 into this from that buyout. It sold for $35.10, and so I made $16.12, but it sold the same day I listed it. Next item is a Tasmanian Devil wind chime. I thought this was adorable. I picked it up at an estate sale last August for $1.50. I got an offer for $10, and because I've had it almost a year, I said goodbye, and so I made $6.46 after 338 days. Next is a Worry Eater plush. This came from the bins for about $1. Its name was Flint the Pirate, and I don't know exactly what this like series of items is, but they seem to sell fairly regularly, so I went ahead and picked it up. Got an offer for $7.50, so I made $4.20 after 54 days. And then last but not least, one of the things that sold later on the 9th of July, this was a Vera Bradley Dainty Dope Hope makeup bag. It was a retired pattern. Had about $1 cost of goods at this from the bins. It sold for $10.80, and so I made $6.69 after 72 days. Like I said, you'll see a pretty decent mix here. I had 20 of the 26 items that sold that were bread and butter, where I averaged about $7.65 in profit. And I had 6 items that were above $15 in profit. Actually, I think that would be, let me do this a little bit different real quick. Yeah, okay, so 19 at bread and butter and 7 above the $15 when I fixed like the princess train issue. So really, really, really pleased with the results over those 4 days. For as far as where the things came from that I sold, I had about 37% of my profit came from Goodwill, 21% came from home clean out, mostly because of my spouse's shoes, and then about 29% from yard sales. That's like where I put my Facebook Marketplace purchases too, so that was a lot of the little people stuff. As far as like the array of the types of things that I sold this particular week, usually about half my profits come from clothing, but only 34% came from what I deem clothing, which includes shoes and accessories this week. Or not this week, these 4 days. Household items contributed to about 17%, and toys were about 48% of my profits this week. Let me know how your summers are going. I'm still keeping up with the summer of sales mentality, accepting reasonable offers on things, especially items that are a little bit older and that I've had in my inventory, or things that are taking up a decent amount of space that I just want to go ahead and move out. I am still currently right now selling more than I am listing. My goal is usually to list 35 items in a week and sell 35 items in a week. So right now I'm still sticking to that listing around 35 items a week goal. But I've been selling a little bit more as I'm trying to kind of reduce my inventory down to about 1,000. I've got some work to do to get there, but that's okay. If you enjoy this kind of content, I would genuinely appreciate a like and a subscribe. I put out 3 reseller videos a week, usually a mix of what sold and hauls or shop with me's, where I share my reselling adventure, my journey, and how it's going for me, and what you can find on a day-to-day basis, and what you can sell as a, not super popular YouTuber. I think I've only ever had one person tell me they bought something from my store that was a viewer, which is fine by me because I think it gives newer resellers and like your average Joe a view of what you can expect. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That's the name of my game, and it works for me. So appreciate it if you wouldn't mind giving me some type of feedback, whether it's a thumbs up, a comment, a like, a subscribe, so that the YouTube algorithm knows that folks are enjoying my content. I'm also marching towards 1,000 subs, where I'm planning on doing some type of a giveaway. So keep coming back. We are making pretty decent progress. I think I'm at about 750 at the time of filming this video. So keep coming back, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.